admit people in.
Hmm. Isa, shall we start?
Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to day 2 of SMU SIC's webinar series. So today we're going to be talking about what it's like to work inside the engine of a social enterprise. So I'm Isabel and this is Pandana, and we're the business development directors for SMU Social Impact Catalyst, and we're really glad to have you here with us on a Wednesday night. Before we give an intro of who the speakers are, we're going to give a brief introduction of who we are at SIC. So SMU SIC is a newly founded club in SMU, which focuses on social innovation and social entrepreneurship. So SIC was founded in 2019 and is currently Singapore's largest youth-centric organization focused on social entrepreneurship and innovation. So our different student chapters range are present at universities like US and NTU and various other polytechnics. And at SMU SIC, we aim to provide students with an opportunity to create meaningful social impact by forming teams on campus that can create different projects to impart social good. So some of the projects and businesses that were started at SIC include startups like SCI Academy, which offers courses for foreign workers. And we aim to achieve social impact through initiating, catalyzing, and building. So I will now pass the time to Alan Yu, who is the program manager at the William Center for Social Innovation, which is the parent organization of SIC.
Thank you very much, Isabel. First of all, I want to say that I'm very excited about all of the exciting speakers that I've had the opportunity to listen to this week. We've had some really great conversation, and I'm very deeply inspired by how some the quality of our conversations and how how many of us are coming together and being able to speak about social innovation in a way that is so inspiring and passionate. So I want to say thank you very much to the EXCO for organizing these webinars and providing an opportunity for quality dialogue and quality conversation around social innovation. Thank you. Just a little bit about the Lien Center for Social Innovation. We are a center for research and capacity building. We started out as primarily a research center in around 2006, where we focused on vulnerable populations, populations such as the elderly, migrant workers, and so forth. And since then, we have evolved into a capacity building center as well, where we are focusing a lot on collaboration, collective action, forming dialogues and conversation around some of the issues that we have researched in the past so that we can take future action. So we're really focusing on the translation of research to action. And recently, some of our research on food security and food sustainability has been picked up by the Straits Times, and we're in the process of organizing roundtables with organizations in the public, private, and people sectors. In addition, another piece that has been influential is the migrant workers. So as there's been a lot of attention given to foreign dormitory workers lately, and we've conducted a series of interviews to better understand their experiences. Lien Center is also an educational space. We provide training around creativity, leadership, and social innovation, and we have hosted several institutions, universities around Asia to come to Southeast Asia to learn about social innovation. For those of you that might not know, Singapore Management University is an Ashoka affiliated campus. So Ashoka is an organization that really attempts to instill creative change-making capacity in everybody. It believes that everybody is a change maker. And Singapore Management University, given its history of wanting to be a non-traditional educational institute that aims to develop students differently through unique experiences like a core curriculum and internships, community service, was recognized as the first Ashoka institution in Asia in 2016. And we just recently got renewed for another 4 years. As part of the Ashoka initiative, we have workshops around what is change making. We'll have one on the 4th of November. We provide lots of opportunities for students to connect. We will be having a change-making conference in March. Another project that is part of the Ashoka initiative is Art Jam, where we have students working together to create some sort of multimedia installation to help students to chart their change-making journeys. And then we also are involved in doing things like theatrical productions. And of course, we have SIC, which is a space for students to try out things and to incubate. And I'm very humbled by the range of issues that students are willing to tackle, everything from women's related interests to the environment. So this evening, we're going to be focusing on on social entrepreneurship, and this is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. I originally am from the United States, where I studied leadership and creativity, and then I found myself living in Bali, Indonesia, where I was working on my dissertation and trying to understand what Balinese leadership is. And as I started to understand the community, by interacting with them, talking to farmers, and getting out in the fields and kind of observing and doing the things that they were doing, going to temples to pray, I really developed a strong appreciation for their culture. And as I lived there, I got a sense that things didn't seem. There were certain things I wasn't really okay with. I didn't like how tourism was impacting the culture, and I didn't like how tourism was creating you know, it was how it was impacting the way of life and the culture in that area. And I wanted to do something about it. And so, you know, I created an organization that aimed to create, you know, different educational and tourism experiences for visitors to Bali. So that was what I did for many years. And I really enjoyed my time living in Bali. So about social entrepreneurship, um, it involves change making, but it's doing change making through entrepreneurship. And so I wanted to maybe talk a little bit about what that is. What is change making? Change making is many different things, but according to research done by Ashoka, and they researched, you know, their fellows as well as many young people, you know, going, you know, involved in change making, and they came up with 4 categories for change making. One of them is empathy. You know, being able to empathize with others, and being able to listen critically, being able to tell, you know, stories that generate empathy in others. It's also not just empathy, but also inclusive collaboration, being able to engage in dialogue, discussion, and debate with fellow members. It's about, you know, being able to set up your organization in a way that is inclusive. It's also the third thing, which is visionary leadership, being able to understand the dynamics of your group, being able to bring your full self to your organization, bringing the things that you love, that you care about, what you feel the world needs and what you're good at into your leadership style. And it's also creative problem solving, being able to not just use the creativity within you, but use the creativity within your community, working with the public sector, the people sector, as well as the private sector. So we'll have an opportunity to kind of look at 3 social entrepreneurs and how they engage in the process of change making. So we have some very interesting individuals that will be joining us this evening. We have Hui Jia from Skillseed, who I know personally, and she is involved in creating, you know, inspiring educational experiences that are experiential and transformative. And how do you create a community to engage in change making? We will also hear from Smriti, who is involved in raising awareness for the deaf community as well as sign language. And she's also started a cafe for a space for discourse and dialogue around deaf-related issues. And so we'll get another perspective on how do we target our beneficiaries? How do we amplify a marginalized voice? And then finally, we will hear from Norbert Binot, and get an environmental farming agricultural business to social innovation. I'd like to kind of conclude with 2 quotes. The first one is, you know, it was from Disney. If you can visualize it, if you can dream it, there's some way to do it. What that means, I think, is that you qualify yourself when you do the work. You have a vision and you will rise to meet that challenge. And secondly, another quote from Maya Angelou is that you can't use up creativity, because the more you use, the more you have. What that means is when you bring ideas together, that leads to more possibilities that you can combine to create even more possibilities. So let us be boundless, and let us be creative, and let us be, you know, really prolific creative makers of change. Thank you very much, everyone. And I'm going to turn the floor back to Isabel and Span. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your sharing, Alan. It's great to start our event with those interesting thoughts. SMU-SIC was founded this year with the goal of building a community of young, aspiring social entrepreneurs in Singapore. Through this event and our other upcoming ones that you should definitely watch out for, we hope that students and young professionals can become more involved in creating change in their own communities. We're really excited to have you all here with us tonight, and I'm sure our speakers are equally excited to share more about their journeys as change makers themselves and how they work towards impact in their respective fields. Before we start, we wish to briefly introduce our lovely speakers tonight. As Alan mentioned, with us tonight, we have Smriti, Norbert, and Vijaya, founders of social enterprises coming from 3 different industries and 3 different countries. Smriti is the founder of Atulya Kala in India, India's first lifestyle brand run by deaf artists. Atulya Kala aims to provide academic education and life skills training to deaf and mute students and improve their lives without depending on donations. Smriti, do you want to share more about yourself and maybe what you do at Atulya Kala?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I hope my audio is clear and you can see me. I would just like to tell a bit about Atulya Kala. It's a Indian word. It just means unparalleled art, if I translate it. And the reason why this name was apt, because the stated of, when I started Atulya Kala, it was about 6 years back. And that time I met a lot of, I have always been part of the deaf community because of my sister and brother. Both of them are hearing impaired, but they are elder to me. So I was always that, you know, a bridge between my parents and my siblings to communicate, to interpret for them. And so obviously I was part of this community from a very long time. But then I started meeting a lot of deaf artists and I realized that they have very less job opportunities. And the sole reason is that, you know, people don't understand the language that they use. And for me, that was not the problem. And that's why this lifestyle brand was started, where we, all the departments are managed and run by different deaf individuals and teams. And that's what we do over here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Smriti. Next, we have Norbert, who is the founder of Fair Farms in Cambodia, which produces pepper under the brand Comfort Jewels, which is not only vastly distributed across Europe, Asia, and North America, but also aims to promote fair trade practices, sustainable organic farming, and good welfare and recognition for farmers. Norbert, do you want to share more about yourself and Fair Farms?
Sure. First of all, thanks for giving us the opportunity to share our experiences. I think it's important. Quick background, I'm French, as you can hear. I've been in Singapore for 10 years. I started my career as an engineer and in the fintech industry and wanted to go back to my roots, which is farming. I'm coming from a farmer family. And so I ended up starting a farm in Cambodia back in 2014. And along the way, I've been dragged into social entrepreneurship, and today we make it a major pillar of the company. It's it's part of the blood of Fair Farms to take care in one way of the people, and on the other end to take care as well of the environment and try to convey this message around us.
Thank you so much, Norbert. Next, we have Vijaya, who's the founding director of SkillSeed in Singapore, a social enterprise that designs and facilitates experiential learning programs to catalyze social impact in Singapore and beyond. They aim to empower communities and equip catalysts with the necessary skills to drive impactful projects. Vijaya, do you want to share more about yourself and SkillSeed?
I think you did a good job, but I just want to give a shout out to Ellen. I'm so excited, and I think I cannot think of a better person to kickstart this program. 5 Pillars was, one of the organizations that we deeply respected, and we were actively exploring collaborations with. So I'm so happy to see Ellen here. I'm really happy to meet all of you and learn from the other founders. I'm sure along the way I will review more mistakes that SkillSeed has made through the years and all that. So please, over to you, Spandan.
Shall we start?
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for introducing yourself to all the speakers. We're really glad to have you here tonight. So before we dive right into the questions, we're just gonna start with some quick questions to get to know you a little bit better. So anyone can start with these questions, but first question, do you prefer milk tea or ice cream?
Me?
No. Anyone can start.
Iced tea.
Ladies first. Iced tea too.
Okay, what was your favorite lockdown hobby and why?
I painted a lot of woods, like everything I could find, I was just painting it in my favorite color. And so, yeah, my family was quite worried about all the furniture in the house.
get myself busy. So I'm trying to start a new business in Singapore to respond to the 30-30 scheme to help Singapore get more food. So I've been working on that.
Okay.
I kept my child alive.
Very interesting, very interesting. Those are all great hobbies. Okay, so last question. If you were a fruit, what would you be and why?
I didn't get that. Sorry.
Sorry.
Can you
Oh,
repeat?
if you were a fruit, what would you be and why?
Fruit.
A fruit, yes.
I have such massive mood swings. I don't even think I can name one fruit. No idea.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just go with my favorite one. Apple.
Grape, because I
For
love
no
wine.
reasons, of course. Just because I like eating it.
Grapes, so we can make wine out of me.
How about you, Huitia?
I think I would like aspirationally to be a custard apple, so like something a little bit rare, right? And you don't find it in pastries, right? You don't make this fruit into pastries, so a little bit exotic, a little bit rare, but very sweet and tasty.
Okay, so thanks for sharing. Now that we know a little bit more about you, I think we can dive right into the questions for tonight. So to start things off, we just wanted to know here, how did you get involved in the social entrepreneurship space, and how did you go about the process of identifying the pressing social issue that you're working on and finding a solution for it? Maybe you could start with Smriti.
Sure. As I mentioned earlier, I had a very, encounter with deaf community at a very young age. So for me, identifying the challenges was like a daily routine and, looking at my siblings and their friends and everything of that sort. But the point where I realized that there needs to be something done is when I started, meeting more and more people from specific backgrounds working in creative fields like graphic designing, photography, and different areas. And I realized that there's a huge gap which is just literally made by the hearing people, just because the deaf people don't fit in the right criteria box for them, so they were always considered not part of the basic community. And so I had to find the solution, and since I knew the community so well, I had the empathy to understand and find a solution for it. So that's how this brand started mostly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. How about Norbert or Huitia?
Well, I guess I learned while I was doing the job. As you know, I'm a farmer, and I'm a farmer from a farming family, and where I saw my grandparents struggle in the farming industry, but back in France, and it was still okay. Um, Now I'm involved in farming in Cambodia, which is a developing country. We can see that they are struggling, and so we need to find a way to help there. But it's not just struggling for their products; it's also struggling for the way they are being protected, the way the social empowerment is not being developed, the gender equality, which is not existing, uh, healthcare, all those things. In fact, when you live there, it's it's striking. When you come from a developed country like France or Singapore, it's easy to see those things that they might not see, and so I think I have the responsibility to help and improve things.
That's right.
Okay. So for CatalySE, so the social issue that we were looking at many years ago, so we started about 7 to 8 years ago, and at that time, many of the overseas community projects that we saw revolved around menial labor, right? So we're talking about like building houses, painting, and I felt that while maybe under certain contexts, you know, in a certain context, that might be appropriate, you know, and we can discuss that later. I felt that, you know, young people could do so much more, you know. So I was very interested in skilled volunteerism, which was what you know, we built SkillSeed, the principle on which we built SkillSeed, and how I actually founded SkillSeed is very funny. By serendipity, was by accident. You know, unlike Smriti and Norbert, who, you know, really they like a born to do this. I just fell into it by accident. I think it stemmed from I was doing my master's overseas in the US, and again, that was by accident. I founded an environmentally friendly and socially conscious student-run cafe at the university itself. That was by accident. By the way, you can read the whole story on SkillSeed. It's very long. And then when I came back to Singapore, I didn't start SkillSeed. I was actually working. You know, I was working with youth. But what happened was that I was very passionate about how I felt about skilled volunteerism. So I blogged a lot, you know, and I talked a lot, and I made friends with a lot of educators. And how it got started was that one of the educators from China contacted me and said that, hey, you know what? My school is, you know, they're running all these trips, but my students aren't learning a lot. And I really doubt that they're making much impact on the communities there. In fact, I think they're doing more harm than good. Is that, you know, since you're so passionate about this, can we explore working together and maybe coming up with, you know, a trip that's a lot more meaningful, and that, you know, something that is mutually beneficial for both the community and the students? And out of, you know, like just interest, I was like, I will help you, you know. And I have never met this educator before. And that was our first course, actually, in environmental stewardship. I co-created that with a community partner in Northwest Bali. Yeah. And then, so SkillSeed was born from there.
Those are very interesting stories. Thank you so much for sharing. So we're dealing with three different groups of beneficiaries tonight. There's farmers, there's the hearing impaired community, and there's the youth who are very passionate about social causes. So what's the best part of working with a beneficiary or a social group, and what are the challenges that come with it? So maybe Smriti, you can start first again.
To think about the, you know, the advantages of working with the community, I would say the impact that we can see, and, you know, the direct results that we can see when we are working or when we are creating anything new, anything that's going to bring any sort of innovation. And like in my work and my background, I have seen how introducing new ways and, you know, making the community more mainstream and inclusive has brought a lot of change, a lot of impact, and we can see that. So that's a very wonderful thing, I feel. Of course, there are challenges, of course, because especially when I talk about India and talking about somebody who wants to just start a fully fledged commercial business and a social enterprise where I am not creating a non-profit organization, rather I'm telling that I will be making money out of it. Obviously, I had a lot of backlash for that. People questioned me that why don't you, you know, just hire these people and rely on donations and go for it like any other community doing it. And there were many challenges even by the community itself, because their trust has been broken so many times at so many levels that anything that's new, anything that's not a comfort zone could be threatening sometimes. So required a lot of baby steps, a lot of, you know, small things that we started including, but it all turns out very beautifully when you practically see your work and your team members' work getting out there and changing something that is so damn required. So I would say that's the most beautiful part for me and my work journey. Thank you.
Thanks, Smriti. That's very touching. What about you, Norbert?
That was good, Smriti. Thanks for sharing. Well, I guess what I really like about it is I have the opportunity to be part of a community. You know, I'm the barang, as they say. I'm the guy from overseas. But I have a family there, you know, I'm part of it. It was quite hard at the beginning. Obviously, I have issues with the language, which is extremely tough, really hard to learn. So we try to use our hands as well, which is working quite fine. I've been struggling with a few things, more than just the language. I've been struggling with people to realize and acknowledge that there are things that are wrong in the way they act. And you know, it's not that easy to tell someone, well, I think the way you are doing things is not super good. I don't think your kid is supposed to work here. You know, because you are changing the habit. And when you come from overseas, they say, okay, who is this guy who is coming and telling me what I should do, right? So that was a bit of a struggle. Well, then I guess everybody realized that I'm not doing this for me, you know, I'm doing this for the community. And so this is evolving, and in time it's getting better and better, and then they teach each other what should be done. And this is magical when this is happening, right? And another thing which is quite hard, it's a big challenge. It's Cambodia, and in Cambodia you have to be quiet when you do things. You don't want to bring too much light on you because you are always afraid that there will be a general with 3 stars who is going to come and say, okay, that's my property. So you better be careful in what you do.
That's very interesting. Lydia?
I'm learning so much right now.
Yeah, you all are.
Yeah, Norbert and Smriti. I wish I didn't have to speak, but yeah. So anyway, so for me, I work with youth. I love working with youth. They keep me young. It's like a personal agenda. I'm just a vampire, you know. I just suck the youth out of them, and you know, I really enjoy working with them because either they take something that you share and they just grow it in ways that you cannot imagine. And good ways, right? They just run with it and they blossom, which is why we're called skill seed, right? We're not skill tree, you know, we're like, we just, we plant the seed and, you know, we maybe do a little bit of fertilizing, but they just blossom, you know. For example, one of our alumni, he is the founder of a cafe, Forward Coffee, and he hires people with disabilities, right? And I'm learning so much from him now. Like, he is the boss. And some of our youth, so we worked with youths with disabilities before. They founded their own consultancy, inclusive consultancy, and that's amazing. And they, you know, I'm learning from them now. So I think that's really the best part, you know. And it makes you feel like, even though I have only one like biological child, I like to think that, oh my gosh, you know, like with some more. I mean, I don't think they think I'm their mom, but I like to think that, oh, you know, because I like really love them. The challenges with working with young people, right? You know, I guess I sometimes feel helpless, you know, because I think generations are really grappling with a lot of issues right now. I think, you know, the generation now has to deal with like escalating climate change, the pandemic, you know, and, you know, so when my, you know, young people, my youth that I work with, they text me, they share their difficulties, I feel very helpless, to be honest, because I don't have all the answers, and I feel like, wow, you know, they are truly facing unprecedented challenges, and I can only be there to listen and to affirm them.
Okay, thank you for sharing. It was really interesting to hear how you all got involved in these sectors and the different factors that come into play, especially as a social enterprise. Moving on, could you share about some of the key factors you consider when making a business decision? So what are some of the hard decisions that you've had to make involving trade-offs, and how did you go about it? Maybe for this one, we can start with Huitia.
Yes, give me the technical ones. All right. Okay. So key factors. So I have three golden rules. Sorry, I'm just slurring right now because I'm old. I'm like older than all these fantastic young people here. So after 8, my brain like just takes a nosedive. Okay. it's like mom brain, I'm sorry. So the three key rules that I have is, firstly, how does this align with our values and mission as a social enterprise, right? So that's number one. Number two, how is this aligned with our core competencies? All right, so that's different. So for example, we specialize in experiential learning, right? So is this aligned with what we do, right? Because sometimes we have different requests and I'm like, oh, you want something to, you want a trip and it's about history. I'm like, we don't really do history. So we don't like pretzel ourselves just to cater to, a potential client. We stick by what we are good at and we drill deep, right? And the final rule that I have is, how is this benefiting the organization? So it could be, for example, in terms of, adding to our financial bottom line. But if not, how is this building our team up, adding to our learning, building our own capacity? So that's something that we take into account as well. So these are three key factors that factor into a business decision that we make at CatalySE. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Maybe now we can move on to Norbert.
Yep. The customers that we choose is key in the way we do business. We want to work with people who are aligned with the vision that we have. So as I mentioned, we have two things at the farm, at Fair Farms. Well, I think the name explains it. It's Fair Farms. Fair, we take care of the people. We make sure everybody is happy. Farms, we are farmer, we want to take care of the environment. To us, it's key. So we are organic and we are fair trade. That's what we do. We talk to people who understand that, who are willing to commit to the same rules as the one we have. And there is no trade-off on that. So your question, any hard decision for trade-off? It's not really hard, honestly. We say no to prospect who came to us and said, okay, we want to work with you because you have a super product, blah, 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 blah. Yes, but you guys are not in line with what we do, so we don't want to work with you. And that's just a full stop. We don't bargain at all. And honestly, I would recommend anyone to do it in your life. It's so much easier when you don't need to bargain. Just go for it. You do your thing.
True.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Now maybe Smithy can share more about it.
Yeah, I think pretty similar on the similar lines. One is definitely that I studied business for my graduation, and then my postgraduate was about social innovation. So obviously, for me, it was very defined thing that I would want a self-sustainable business model, even if it's for a specific community. So one thing definitely is to give equal importance to, the community I'm working for, as well as the revenue model that I'm working for. I couldn't really compromise on one. So that's one. And second thing is definitely for me, it has always been like a goal, like a target model sort of a work where we, as a team, we do not let the social part of it or the deaf community part of it hamper our goals and targets. I mean, yes, sometimes we are people who, we have to do what any other business would be doing, or just telling the direct things that this is the sales target, this is the work target. And to honestly, because for us, it was very important to bring the deaf community on a mainstream level and not keeping them again on a side stream and telling them that, oh, because you belong to a marginalized community, we will let you get the advantages of it. So we've had a very balanced team sort of like work. I have had many issues where I have let go massive decisions and massive opportunities just because they were not in sync with our goals and ideas. One of those was definitely an investor in the initial 3 years of my business, where we did sign up a deal and it was going well. But in the first 2 months of working with that investor, I realized that for that person, the goal was not really making deaf community more visible and more strong, but rather it was just getting another brand on the portfolio. So we had to let go of that. We had to again go back to our previous stage and, then again walk slowly and get back. But definitely, if it's a social enterprise, you cannot let go your social part of it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for sharing. Those are some really insightful answers. So building onto that, I think we want to ask now, how did you decide on your business model and choose how you wanted to make revenue? And what are some of the challenges you face in achieving a triple bottom line? For this one, maybe we could go from Norbert, Smriti to Huitya.
Okay, the current business model, it came to me. So when I started the farm, I had this idea, to be organic, take care of the planet, right? And take care of the people. We spoke with a lot of people. Someday I met someone and this lady told me, I'd like to do something. I have an NGO in Cambodia. We want to raise money. We've been thinking maybe you can, give us some paper and we're going to pack it and create value with it. It's going to help us found the school. I say, good, I'll do it. So I sent paper. They were quite happy, and eventually those guys knew someone who knew someone, and I ended up to talk to someone who said, well, you guys are doing you are doing things that are quite good and that are in line with what we want to do. And what we do is organic and fair trade. They say, why don't you get your organic and fair trade certificate? I said, okay, why not? So I called the people, to get to be audited, got my certificate. Since then, we are the first company being organic and fair trade certified in Cambodia. That helped me to get the business mainly in Europe. And today we continue focusing on this kind of business model where we are kind of at the top of the pyramid. We are the expensive guys, but we are also the guys who are on the ground. I spend my time on the farm. We as we say, and excuse my French, we make shit happen.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Maybe now Smriti can share.
Yeah. Could you? For me, it's always been like my team is obviously the strength of what we are doing and what we are trying to achieve. When it comes to selections and when it comes to taking decisions how to construct and develop a workspace or a model, I think we don't, compromise or negotiate on the fact where the community is getting the benefit. For example, a lot of startups, a lot of companies who are into lifestyle brand, especially in India, I would say, they try to cut their costs by paying less to the artist or less to the person who's actually making it or designing it, because that's their area where they know we can save our costing and then they can give the customer a better price. For us, it's the other way around. For us, it's very essential for people who come from that background or have a skill set to get exactly the pay scale that they would get anywhere else without the disability or with the disability. So fair trade is very important, of course. And otherwise, definitely my business works like any other lifestyle fashion brand. Involves a lot of collaborations, a lot of, meeting new people, uh, trying to find the best new ways of how to create a buzz in the city. So yeah, that's how mostly that we create the work for.
Okay, thanks for sharing. It's great to hear the importance that both of you place on fair trade and making sure that these employees are paid properly.
Yeah.
So now maybe Huita can share about how the triple bottom line affects SkillSeed and their operation.
Oh, okay. So if I'm not wrong, you had a question about how we decided on our current business model as well, right?
Yes.
Something to that effect. Okay. So ours a very convoluted journey. So we started out doing skilled volunteerism trips, and to be frank, it was mainly not for profit. Even though we were structured as a for-profit social enterprise, but we were not doing so well on the financial bottom line. Also because when we work with communities, when we find good community partners in Singapore and around Southeast Asia, we wanted to you know, you just want to do your best, right? So you invest a lot of manpower and time. So it was very costly, but we persisted. And what happened was that a few years down the road, suddenly we had a school come to us and they said, hey, can you actually train our staff in, some of the social innovation skills that you've applied when when you design these community projects. And we were like, okay, but why us, right? There are like professors out there who do this, this sort of thing. And they were like, yeah, but we want to learn from someone who does things on the ground, like a practitioner, right? I mean, I think what she's trying to say is that what she was trying to say was that you guys make the most mistakes, right? So we want to learn from your mistakes, right? So we were like, interesting. Okay, so we started to distill our insights and our experiences on the ground, and so we started to put together curriculum. And so that was when we started our training arm, so to speak. So now we have developed our suite of training framework. So for example, we train in human-centered leadership and community engagement skills. We train in some social innovation as well. And then our audience changed as well. So at first we were all like, young people and youths, right? But along the way, we started to get interest from adults. In fact, right now, SkillSeed is actually the trainers for a course called Engagement Immersion for Leaders, whereby we actually train directors from the public service all across Singapore, from all agencies, in citizen engagement skills. So that has been I'm still surprised by that, because we were very youth-centric. But now we have opened up to say, okay, youth and the young at heart, so we don't discriminate. And then we share where we think we can add value. So that has been sort of an evolution of our work. And in fact, now from face-to-face trainings, from face-to-face trips, we have gone virtual. So on our website, we offer virtual learning journeys, we offer virtual training and virtual courses. So that has been another it's sort of adaptation of our business model. So that's that. You had another question about triple bottom line, is that right?
Yes.
And sorry, I'm my mind. The
Sure.
question
How does SkillSeed address like having a triple bottom line? So not just working towards profit, but also considering the people and maybe the planet, if that's something that's important for the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, so for as I mentioned, when we look at projects, right, we're always thinking about how does this align with our values and our mission, right? And our mission is really to help people match passion to potential, and from there discover a sense of purpose, right? So for example, we work with partners from NGOs, from the social sector. We are very collaborative. We do a lot of co-creation because that's in line with our values. We don't usually go at it alone. We usually have a lot of partners, and we share the profits. We share learning. So that's one. In terms of the environment, that's something that we are also very conscious of. In fact, one of the things that we want to look into for next year is going beyond sustainability, right? It always starts off with, okay, environmental sustainability, but how can we go into regenerative, the regenerative aspect? So not just sustaining, but regeneration. So that's something that we are examining very closely, and how to infuse that into our learning journeys, in our courses, and in the organizational DNA. Like, how are we regenerating within SkillSeed itself?
Thank you so much for that, Vijaya. As Vijaya has already discussed her iterations that she often faces in SkillSeed, maybe Norbert and Smriti can discuss if they've always settled on a single business model that's currently going on, or did you have other plans before and changed those plans quite a lot before you settled on the business model?
As far as, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, do you want to go ahead?
Okay, I'll go ahead. Thank you. You sure you don't want to go ahead? Okay. We are evolving. We are evolving today. We have demand that is growing. We have to choose what we do. So I think today I have two opportunities if I want to be able to respond to the demand. One response would be to get more land, get a bigger farm, which is a possibility as well because we get, we involve the community around us. It's creating employment. It's helping. Or we try to respond to another issue that is happening in the region where we are working. So I am in Kampot, which is southwest part of Cambodia. The product we sell and we produce is called Kampot pepper. It's a protected geographical indication, like champagne. You do champagne in France, you do Kampot pepper in this part of the world. We want to promote this, we want to protect this. But unfortunately, today, some of the farmers are struggling to access the market because they don't speak English, because they have no clue about marketing, because some of them they don't read and write. So it's getting complicated for them to have access to a market, and we don't want those guys to just give up their production. And so today we are building a new project. We are building a cooperative in Cambodia where we commit to farmers to buy from them their production. And so on my end, it's also to have long contracts with my customers in Europe, for example. So I can put in place contract with the farmers locally, and in exchange of giving them an opportunity to sell their product, I am also pushing for the respect of what we believe in. So we get them organic certified, which comes with take care of the environment, stops throwing plastic bags on the floor. So there is part of education there. And also the other part which is coming is the fair trade. Fair trade is not just you give a fair salary to someone, it's way more complex than that. And so we are also pushing this, saying, well, your kids are going to go to school. There is gender equality. So we enforce what we believe in. So that way we are helping them, to keep their culture, to keep their farms, and we are also trying to change a bit the habits and improve to empower the social empowerment, right? And so this is a new business model that we were supposed to kickstart by the end of this year. It will not be possible because we can't go to Cambodia for the time being. But this is this is a new direction, and we believe that working with this kind of model as a cooperative, we can have a huge impact on the farming community around us.
Thank you, Norbert. How about you, Smriti?
We did have, one pivoting moment in our company, which was actually just in the first year of running it. Initially, when I started at CatalySE, it was mostly a design firm because the people I met and the kind of artists and kind of designers I met from the community, it felt right to just open up a design firm so we can get clients and, get brief and then give them the designs they require. On the way, I realized that I will never be able to detach myself from the business if this is going to be the model, because it was all about interpreter and designer and then the client, and also then looking at a lot of different context of the educational status of the designers and the community and a lot of different things. I could always see a lag between the current design market and what these designers have learned. So there was a constant, struggle for me to be there and try to get the clients and all that. So that's when we realized that it will be better if we have a more self-running and more consumer-based, sort of model. And that's when we pivoted to lifestyle brand, where we then launched apparels, bags, stationaries, a lot of different things. That was obviously very easy for the designers to create and design because that's their forte, and easy for us as a managing committee and all to actually present it in the market. So it was a win-win for us. And alongside, we also realized that there's a heavy need to bring the coolness into the brand, and how it should, people should not pick up a bag because it's made by a deaf person and they are giving a charity. They should pick it up because they feel it's a nice one and it'll go with my outfit. And so that's where a lot of new things came up. Our quirky lines, our branding changed, and it became a very fun thing to just go and pick it up. We also pivoted from only online to now offline stores, and we did open few stores in India, and then we did a collaboration in Denmark for the European market. So turned out that people do enjoy meeting the salespeople so all our salesperson everywhere, anywhere are deaf. And it is a shock for people in India when they go and buy something and they're like, oh, how I'm going to talk to you. But that was the whole sort of like empathy walk we wanted people to actually, experience while they are going and buying it. So definitely, I mean, we've evolved a lot when it comes to presenting the brand, but yes, from a design firm to now a brand, lifestyle brand, it was a good change, I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, Smriti. Vijaya, do you have anything to add on to this question? Any other iterations that you haven't told us about before you settled on the current business model for CatalySE?
I just think that Norbert and Smriti are brilliant. That's all.
Okay.
You
Sure.
two are. We all are.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Maybe our next question is, COVID has definitely affected your businesses somehow because it's definitely affected all our lives. So what would you say was the most impactful part about COVID on your business?
Who is starting?
I think Smriti is speaking, but we can't hear her. Okay, yeah.
Definitely, it was crazy. It is still crazy here. The numbers are increasing every day. Everybody's going back to their usual life. So we don't even know whether to go back full-fledgedly, work again, or just take a step back and take care of our health first. But it was very difficult times for us in the team. All of my team members were sitting home. Our work is such that we didn't have a lot of work from home. So I had to pay the salaries, obviously. The hardest part was that I had to let go few of my store managers because our stores were not, working for so many months now, and I couldn't continue paying them salaries just by sitting home. It was hard, but I think that was the only option we had that time. Now, another issue that we had was certainly our product line and our company is not a necessity, not an essential item, right? So it is something that people would spend on if they have an extra income lying in their bank accounts. I would go out shopping only if I have extra income coming in and I'm like, okay, I feel like buying a new bag now. So that wasn't happening in the last few months. Everybody was struggling with their finances. But the good part is that we all were together in it, and I was very transparent, honestly, with my people, and I told them that this is the best I can do right now. This is the best I can pay you, or I can help you with, or I can do something. And I think that transparency helped me retain the team that I created in so many years. So we are bouncing back slowly, and stores have started opening now, but I really hope this corona goes away soon. Can't wait for this to go. Yeah, thank you.
We all can. Yeah, no, but go ahead.
I'm not sure I'm going to please everybody here. Actually, it had, in a way, a good impact for us. I guess you've all been cooking a bit during COVID because you stay home. And eventually we saw that people wanted to become a chef. Everybody wanted to become a chef. And so they start shopping, and instead of buying the normal pepper that they would buy in the supermarket there, they've been in a specialized shop to buy the good products because at some point they were chefs. And so we saw the demand increasing, but it's massive. So in terms of product, the return is quite good for us with the COVID for the time being. Because now we also see that people are losing their job, or they don't know where they are going, and so they are spending a bit less money on things that are not essential, and paper is not essential in your life, unfortunately. So that's one side. On the other hand, I was not able to. I'm kind of stuck in Singapore for the time being. So as I mentioned, it's been holding some projects. This kind of project would have had a very good impact on the community. So unfortunately, it has been delayed. This is not good. My team, everybody stayed at the farm, so they have not been affected. I don't know how it's going to be for the future. No, I'm very confident that my team there can manage while I'm not around. They are very good, been trained. I trust them, and we speak every day. But like anybody, I hope it will go soon, so we can resume the activity as per normal. We can go forward with the project that we have. And as I mentioned at the beginning. The good things about working with the social group is that you create another family there, and you start missing them as well. Want to go back?
Let's all hope you will go back soon. How about you, Hijia?
Yeah. So good things and bad things. And I'm just a little bit just went into a thought because Smrti's sharing just reminded me that while things may be getting better in Singapore, I think many parts of the world, they are still facing challenges, and I really do hope that this really blows over soon, because it's related to our work and our partnerships, right? We don't just have partnerships in Singapore, we have partnerships in different countries in Southeast Asia. Our community partners are there, and it has really been a struggle because all our projects and trips came to a halt, right? We couldn't move forward, and we don't know if and when we can actually run our trips and projects again. So that's not good. In fact, I'm a little bit down right now because one of our community partners actually suddenly passed away, and it was someone that I had the longest relationship with. She was one of our first, and I couldn't be there, right, personally to say my final goodbyes, and it's something that still affects me till now, because in the past it would be like, okay, I'll see you, and then you take a flight over, and then the relationship continues. So that's that. So that's been tough. So business side, of course, the travel side, the in-person sort of engagements and business, that has been affected. The good thing, if anything good came out of this, was that we were forced to be innovative much faster than we thought we could. In fact, 2 years ago, I had actually wanted to explore the idea of being virtual, right? Running virtual trips, virtual learning journeys, simply because, there's so many things happening around the world. We've had many instances where, we wanted to do a project together overseas, and then a volcano will explode, right? a volcano explode or earthquake, and then everything would just come to a standstill. And I'm like, we can't, like, how can we continue our collaborations without all these, unexpected acts of God happening? And I thought, how, can we explore virtual collaborations, virtual learning journeys, and our community partners still can get, some income and sustainability from such partnerships. When I raised the idea 2 years ago, potential grant makers, investors shot us down. They're like, who would go for virtual? And then now everything is virtual. And I'm like, well, I guess this is great because we had been primed. And so when the time came, we were like, virtualize, so we could act a lot faster because, 2 years I've been like, we have to start looking at virtual stuff, right? So now when everything, went kaput, people had to work from home, we were very, very quickly able to launch our virtual curriculum, and now we have virtual learning journeys, and we are going to build upon that so that we can continue our collaborations with our community partners no matter where they are. Yeah, so that's the good thing.
Okay, thank you first of all for being so honest with what's been happening in your businesses. I'm sure COVID has affected all your businesses, and I think as social enterprises, there's an added layer because you're working not just for profit, but you're working with a beneficiary and other social groups. So I really hope that this situation gets better for all of us and that things can go back to normal sooner. But moving on to a lighter note, can you describe what a day in your life is like? Maybe we can start with Norbert for this one. What does a day in your life look like?
Well, I have two lives, one in Singapore, one in Cambodia. The life in Singapore is mainly taking care of the paperwork, the legal, the audit, the customers, finding new ideas, trying to build this cooperative, find partners. So basically, when I have access to internet, I use internet and I use my phone, and that's what I do. When I am at the farm, I don't have internet, I don't have electricity, and so my day starts like at 5:30 by collecting eggs and doing breakfast, and then I go work with my team. As a farmer, so I just do farming. And that's what I do in Cambodia. Also, we go a bit around to talk to the community. As I say now, it's a big family, so most of the time I'm being invited to the wedding of the cousin and everybody because there is this background who is in the community. So I live a normal life as a normal Khmer farmer. I love it.
That's great. What about you, Smriti?
I think the one reason I chose this work and life was the flexibility we get out of it. So days, the timings of working hours and everything, I think my struggling years I'm done with that. So I'm at a point where everything is an automation now, and it works well for me. I go to my office. We have two offices in different parts of the city in Delhi, and it's always traveling from one to another. Then a lot of my work happens on WhatsApp video because most of my team members are deaf, and the fastest mode of communication is obviously just video calling them and just talking. So no noise pollution. I'm never yelling at anybody. I'm never shouting. I'm just signing and I'm just telling, and it's the whole day goes by but there's so many different layers and levels of things that I'm part of right now. I also do news reading for a channel. So the days are definitely divided and, placed according to the work that I have in the coming day. And, but I always make sure that I have at least a couple of hours to just brainstorm, mostly in the morning, because that really, I think that helps me to understand what do I really want out of this entire week or a month, because otherwise I get so lost in so many new things and ideas, especially social media. Like every time I see something, I'm just like, oh, this is so right. So obviously I've divided my days and works like that. But mostly I'm in Delhi. When I would want to work from home, I usually go travel somewhere and then again sign and work my way out of it. So yeah.
Flexibility is the key word in what you said, I think.
Sorry?
I think the key word that you mentioned is flexibility. When you are an entrepreneur, you have the flexibility to sometimes to wake up and say, well, today I'm just gonna go swimming, or
Exactly.
just relax, you know. Or... But
Exactly.
most of the time, since we are so passionate about what we do, I think we work too much.
True.
Okay, Huicha, so how about you? What does a day in your life look like?
It's very different now. Now that we are all, stuck at home, because I could, in the past, I would sometimes travel as well, as part of my work. So I could be anywhere in the world. That's one. Um, but now, there's sometimes I'm working on unglamorous but very important stuff. So Norbert said audit, right? So that struck. I was like, oh, audit, oh, dirty. Yeah, like, right? So there's audit, that's important, budgeting, that's important. So you look at the numbers, you look at cash flow, you look at analysis, you discuss with finance people, you're like, but that's like so important, like super unsexy, but sometimes quite, it depends on your personality. Like I sometimes find it like, oh, numbers so sexy, right? So you have to get into that mind frame and then get motivated. So that's one. And then I'm the opposite of Smriti. She never yells, she never I'm always yelling, I'm always shouting, I'm always giving pep talks that no one wants. So I'll call the team. Okay, here's the pep talk, and everyone's like, no, and then so I do my mentoring. I like to think of it as mentoring, whether they like it or not. Because I really want to build my team up, right? So it starts from inside, right? So we are skill seed, we plant seeds in our communities, but we have to start with the young people within our organization as well. Like, I keep telling them, one day take over my position, right? So that's what I want them to do. I want to be completely dispensable and, just walking around and like dusting things off the tables. Like that's all I want to do, like in the office, right? So that, because I know that they are equipped and able to do my job. So that's a large part of my work is trying to empower my team. So I think that's the other thing. And finally, I think both Norbert and Smriti mentioned that it's strategizing, right? Coming out with new ideas, coming out of, okay, how can we move forward? Doing long-term planning. I think that's also a large part of my work now.
Oh, that sounds so exciting. I can never see myself getting bored as an entrepreneur. Maybe I should start an enterprise right now. I know it's not that easy, but well. So it's 8:47 now. So it'd be great to have some questions from the floor, from the audience. So please do send in your questions on the chat. Meanwhile, I think a few last questions from us. What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs focusing on the industry that you're in? Okay, maybe Norbert, you can go first.
Sure. Advice for aspiring entrepreneurs. My advice is if you have an idea, I guess you are not the only one to have it. We are not that special, so go for it. It's gonna work. Do not hesitate. Do not be afraid of doing wrong. There is no wrong. You will just learn. And I don't like to say learn from your mistake, because it's not a mistake, it's just life. You build your own knowledge. Just go for it. If you guys want to go for social entrepreneurship, don't believe that a lot of people believe that when you do social entrepreneurship, you should not make money. Don't be blind by this. Those people don't understand anything about it. If your company does not work, does not succeed, whatever you build is going to fall apart and you are going to lose everything. You're not helping anybody. So don't be blind by that. Just go do your idea, go with your heart. Yeah, it's kind of easy. if you go for tech, if you want to deploy a new technology in, somewhere, we have been working on something with a company in Singapore. They didn't realize the difficulty of doing this off-grid with very bad internet. So go there and try it there if you want to succeed in the tech. Well, voilà, that's what I have to say. Go for it.
That's very inspiring. Thank you, Norbert. Smriti?
Yeah, definitely. Go for it. I would say the same for people who want to, start something. But just one addition I feel is that, especially in social enterprises, a lot of time we assume a lot of things that our solution is definitely going to, help the community, or like this is going to solve all the issues in that community. And during that time, we do not give attention or due time to actually research and see that what the community actually wants, what is the exact issue that they are facing, and is our solution really going to change something, or is just going to be another business idea for that community? So I think giving a lot of research time to begin with and to spend time with the community surely is going to help you develop a very strong solution rather than just jumping onto conclusion and reading on the internet. So certainly all the ideas are great. There's no bad, good idea, but it's worth giving your time and spending the time with the community before you jump into it. Yeah, that's what I would like to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Smriti. Vijaya?
Hello. So I think my advice would be never stop learning and listening. Like here I am to share, right? But really I'm also here to learn from Norbert, from Smriti, from all of you young people. And I think that's really important because as you grow, you're going to enter different stages, right? And every time I think I reach a stage where I am the shit, that sort of thing, like good shit, right? Like, wow, I've reached the pinnacle. And then like something will happen and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like I don't know anything, right? And I think it's so important to, at that point, be grounded, and listen and learn from people around you, from all ages and different backgrounds, because I think you just learn so much from that.
Thank you so much for that. I think we have some questions from the
If I may
audience.
give one last piece of advice,
Sure.
use your network, leverage your network. It's key. It's key to succeed. Cultivate your network.
So if anyone in the audience is interested in farming ideas, you know who to reach out to. I think we had some questions from the audience. So I think for Smriti, there's a question. Have you considered displaying your products on third-party websites like Myntra or Amazon? Do you think that will make people buy the product without knowing Atulya Kala's cause and might not work in favor of generating impact?
Yeah, so
maybe you can answer the question first.
Thank you for the question. So I did think of putting it on Amazon and Myntra, which are actually Indian websites for fashion brands. Myntra is one, Amazon, The one reason why I didn't go for Amazon is definitely because the kind of branding and the kind of name that we want to create, it just get lost somewhere there. Like my purpose is not only just turning products into sales and getting money, but also making the product stand out. So Amazon was definitely not the platform for us. Myntra, yes, but with Myntra, they have some specific number of product line that they want, which is in thousands and much more. So for a company where we pay a lot of attention to every single product, like we always use vegan leather and, we get into a lot of, so for us stocking up thousands and thousands of product in their warehouse does not really make sense at this point of time. Unless we have, a bulk just left like that and we are ready to just stock it somewhere. So another issue with them is their credit, like their payment cycle, it's too long, it's too slow. So that's why we have restricted ourselves from there, but we are on social media and different platforms which we are trying to get on. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much for saying that, Smriti. So we have another question. How did you go about finding your founding team to work on the social issue together with you? For this one, maybe we can start with Rita.
So, through networks, like Norbert said, I just looked at who would be keen, who would already have an interest in this. I looked at how their networks would complement mine, because sometimes when you reach out to someone who is in the exact same social circle, then you're just, reaching out, like there's no multiplier effect, right? So I looked at people who would have a slightly, different social sector, social circle. And so that was how I tried to build my team. And I think my best win has been actually, I would say empowering, but it's really forcing my husband to join me. He has been an invaluable asset. And somehow we made it work, right? The marriage and, somehow running this together. Because I think one thing about this entrepreneurship journey is that it can be very lonely. Very, very lonely. So now I've trapped my husband in here. I think it's someone that I can, really share my deepest fears and my anxieties. And I know that, somehow we'll make it through together. And yeah, so that's my sharing.
Oh, okay. Thanks for sharing, Felicia. I guess you can consider two babies, right? You said a while ago you have one, but I guess Gilseed can be your other one. How about you, Smriti?
Network, definitely. And so they have deaf clubs, and I'm sure like Singapore and many other places where they interact, meet, and come every weekend and know more about the just catch up basically. And I was fortunate because my siblings used to go there and I had the access to go and meet them. So that's how I started spreading the idea that I had, started sharing with them. Secondly, there are few colleges and universities where they had reservations for person with disabilities in India, but not necessarily any sort of like job opportunity for them. So that gap was there, and I went there to recruit and to meet more and more people. So yeah, I think that was how I joined, like I've got my team on board.
Oh, okay. How about you, Norbert?
Well, so at the beginning, one of my partner is my partner in life as well. So my wife is as well working with me on Fair Farms. Yeah, we are succeeding as well. She just got pregnant.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that was the beginning of it. I think it was a core team. Then, since we are a fair trade company, as part of the commitment that we have is to involve all the people that are being concerned by whatever we do. So today, if I start a project, before I start a project, it's not Norbert Bino who says, we're going to do this. We vote. So each team member can vote, each staff can vote, each customer who is a partner in the fair trade world is voting as well. So everybody, in fact, is involved. It's not just me taking a decision. No, now today it's everybody around us who is saying, well, this is what we should do to improve things here. So now the team is quite big in the end because everybody's voting.
Okay. Thanks so much for sharing that. I think another question we had from the sign up forms was, what is your proudest moment and your greatest challenge in your journey so far? Maybe for this one we can start with Smriti.
Okay. I must have mentioned it before, but or not, I don't know. But yeah, one big challenge was definitely separating us from the NGO sector, because it was not like people here didn't understand what social enterprise was. The problem was that they couldn't understand that there is a huge difference between SE and an NGO. So and even at this point of time, a lot of people still confuse it for just a charity run organization. So wherein, you don't get the enough opportunity that any other tech startup or any other sort of industry would be getting. That's been a challenge. That's still a challenge for me. I think a lot of proud moments, a lot of happy moments, which comes every now and then. That's the benefit of working with something that you absolutely adore and love. And a lot of times, like one of those moments that I can think of was that when like it's such a small thing for us maybe or for anybody else, but there's this team member of mine who commutes from metro, like train, like a train journey from home to office, and he has a habit of sketching during the train in the journey. And every time, somebody used to just go and tap on his shoulder that, oh, what are you doing? He couldn't really explain that who is he, why is he doing this, what is he, doing. But now that long back he joined us and everything, and he got his designation, he got his business card, he got, like a name for himself. And now whenever he's anywhere, he loves the idea, or he loves the point where he could simply tell that this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is what I'm associated with. So just giving that sort of simple, basic moments for them means so much, which might not be for people who do not have any kind of impairment or any kind of issue. For us, it's very easy to go and share and communicate and exchange words, but not for them. So many, many, many proud moments. And I think challenges, of course, always. But I think that's what any business is about, right? Like, otherwise it'll be damn boring if it's just going to be one way. So yeah, just a bit. Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you, Smriti. Vijaya, you want to go next?
Yeah, I think the proudest moment is that I'm still here talking to, all of you. And because really, in the past, I used to think that if you wanted to be, a really good social enterprise, you have to be the most innovative, you have to be, like the smartest and all that. I mean, of course, you still have to have elements of that, but really, I think being resilient, it's, to me now, that is something that I think, just simply outlasting, right? Riding the waves of all the different challenges and being able to say, it's okay, we will pick up from this, we will learn from this, we will march on, right? And getting to a point, because many years ago, to be honest, nobody really cared that much about like skilled volunteerism. Nobody really cared about co-creation, community building. Today, I mean, in Singapore, right, we are talking about co-creation, we're talking about like shared vision and partnerships. And we happen to be here saying like, oh, that's what we've been doing for, like X number of years. And that's how, like government, corporates come to us and say, okay, we want to work with you. And yeah, it's just by outlasting all the different challenges for the past, few years and sticking to what we do. I think that's something that I'm proud of. And the challenges, I echo Smriti, it's about, like making sure that, how do we educate our consumers, our client partners that, just because we're a social enterprise, we're not like the cheaper version of, other companies who are offering the same thing. Like, oh, you guys should be like the cut price discounted version. Like, we're not, so that's something that we constantly try to prove ourselves through the quality of the work that we do, and, continuing to educate the client partners that we have. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vijaya. How about you, Norbert?
Education, that's true, to educate the people on what we do, what is a social enterprise. I think it's key today. I think people are really misleading. They don't understand what it is. They barely know what an NGO is, and they have no clue what a social enterprise is. So that's a bit struggling. Sometimes it's not really rewarding, but we don't do it for them. I do it for me, because when I turn 70 years old or 80 years old, then I will look back. I want to be proud of what I did. So I do it for me, and I do it for my team. and the huge reward that we get is the team is extremely happy. We are lucky to work with some of the best chefs in the world. The team is so proud about that. When we say, oh, we work with this guy, he's #1 chef in Asia, you know, they're super happy. They are happy to show that they have this culture, that they know how to do this farming for this specific pepper. I'm extremely happy with that. That's big moment of joy. We are working with a school. Well, you know what it is to work with kids when you go there and all the smiles and everything, and that's just something that has no value. You know, it's beautiful. All in all, it's a very positive experience to do that. I don't really look at the bad side of the job that we are doing, of the mission. I just take the positive, and everything is positive. Honestly, it's so good.
Right, thanks, Norbert. I think it was a very insightful session from the three of you guys. So what I would like to do is really just to thank you guys for coming here and speaking on behalf of just SIC and LCSI. Thank you for spending the time on a Wednesday night to speak to all the students here and all the aspiring social entrepreneurs. And we hope that everyone really enjoyed this session. I know I definitely did, and my team definitely did. So I think Hui Jia has to rush off. So thank you to everyone for coming here today. And we hope that, if there's anything, do feel free to reach out to us or to speak to all our fabulous entrepreneurs here today. And we hope that, I think the COVID situation has changed a lot of things. So we hope that you guys will be inspired and continue to work hard towards your dream of becoming a budding social entrepreneur as well. So that's all we have for today. We'd like to end off here, and thank you so much for spending the time with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely meeting
Thank
you.
Everybody.
Keep
Thank
it
you so
positive.
Thank you
much.
so much for today. Thank
Bye.
you.
And congratulations, girls, for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.
All the best to you all.
Yeah,
Thank you, Smriti. Thank
Stay
you,
in touch,
Norbert.
and if anyone has questions, do not hesitate. Available.
All right. Ciao.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I removed the people.
Okay.
Thanks, Ellen. It was a very nice talk.
Yeah, thank you, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you, everybody. It was very, very well done. I'm very proud of all of you.
It's very nice seeing our figurine at the back as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want to take him everywhere because I do love I love